Electrical wiring in a daycare unit attached to a home has specific conditions outlined in the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 840.21a. This article mandates that all electrical wiring in daycare centers adheres to Article 517, which pertains to healthcare facilities. This incorporation by reference triggers a series of requirements. Firstly, all wiring must be installed within metallic raceways or cables to provide a robust physical barrier and grounding path. Secondly, all outlets must be of the tamper-resistant type. These are designed to prevent children from inserting objects and receiving an electrical shock. Thirdly, all switches must be of the tamper-resistant type or be mounted at least 5 feet above the floor. This helps to prevent accidental activation by children. Fourthly, all lighting fixtures must be of the resist type or be mounted at least 8 feet above the floor to minimize the risk of contact. Fifthly, all electrical equipment must be properly grounded to provide a safe path for fault currents. Sixthly, all electrical panels must be locked or otherwise secured to prevent unauthorized access. In addition to these requirements derived from Article 517, there are often further stipulations. The daycare unit must have its own dedicated electrical panel. This isolation ensures that any electrical issues in the daycare do not affect the home's electrical system and vice versa, also simplifying troubleshooting and maintenance. The daycare unit must have its own dedicated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. While not directly related to electrical wiring, this requirement is often imposed to maintain a safe and healthy environment. The daycare unit must have its own dedicated fire alarm system. This independent system ensures that a fire in the daycare triggers an immediate alarm, regardless of the status of the home's fire alarm system. It is important to understand that these are minimum requirements. Local building codes and fire safety officials may impose additional requirements based on the specific layout, design, and occupancy of the daycare unit. Therefore, it is essential to consult with a qualified electrician who is familiar with the National Electrical Code and local regulations. An electrician can assess the specific conditions of the daycare and ensure that all electrical wiring is installed safely and in compliance with all applicable codes. It is not enough to simply follow the minimum requirements of the National Electrical Code. Local building codes and fire safety officials may have additional requirements that must be met. An electrician can help you determine what these additional requirements are and ensure that your electrical wiring is in compliance. Failure to comply with electrical codes can result in fines, penalties, and even the closure of your daycare. Therefore, it is important to take electrical safety seriously and to consult with a qualified electrician. To ensure compliance, consider these key points. First, understand the scope of Article 517, Healthcare Facilities. Familiarize yourself with the specific requirements outlined in this article, particularly those related to wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection. Second, verify local codes and ordinances. Contact your local building department and fire marshal to determine if there are any additional electrical requirements for daycare centers in your area. Third, engage a licensed electrical contractor. Hire a qualified and experienced electrician who is familiar with the National Electrical Code and local codes. Fourth, conduct thorough inspections. Schedule regular electrical inspections to identify and correct any potential hazards. Fifth, maintain detailed records. Keep accurate records of all electrical work, including permits, inspections, and repairs. Tamper-resistant receptacles are designed with internal shutters that prevent foreign objects from being inserted into the slots. These receptacles are required in daycare centers to protect children from electrical shock hazards. When selecting tamper-resistant receptacles, look for products that meet Underwriters Laboratory Standard 498. This standard ensures that the receptacles have been tested and certified to meet safety requirements. The height requirements for switches and lighting fixtures are intended to prevent children from accessing or tampering with electrical equipment. Switches should be mounted at least 5 feet above the floor, and lighting fixtures should be recessed or mounted at least 8 feet above the floor. These height requirements can be challenging to meet in existing buildings. In these cases, consider using tamper-resistant switches or installing guards over lighting fixtures. Grounding is an essential safety measure that provides a path for fault currents to flow back to the electrical source. This helps to prevent electrical shock hazards and equipment damage. All electrical equipment in a daycare center must be properly grounded. Grounding can be achieved by connecting the equipment to a grounding electrode system, such as a ground rod or a metal water pipe. Electrical panels should be locked or otherwise secured to prevent unauthorized access. This is particularly important in daycare centers where children may be present. Locking electrical panels helps to prevent children from tampering with electrical equipment and potentially injuring themselves. A dedicated electrical panel for the daycare unit provides several benefits. It isolates the daycare's electrical system from the home's electrical system, which can help to prevent electrical problems from affecting both areas. It also makes it easier to troubleshoot and repair electrical problems in the daycare unit. A dedicated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system for the daycare unit can help to maintain a comfortable and healthy environment. This is particularly important for children who are more susceptible to temperature extremes. A dedicated fire alarm system for the daycare unit provides an early warning of a fire, which can help to save lives. The fire alarm system should be monitored by a central station, which can dispatch firefighters to the scene in the event of a fire. When installing electrical wiring in a daycare unit, it is important to use the correct wiring methods. The National Electrical Code requires that all wiring be installed in metallic raceways or cables. Metallic raceways, such as conduit, provide a physical barrier to protect the wiring from damage. Cables, such as armored cable or metal-clad cable, also provide a degree of protection. When selecting wiring methods, consider the environment in which the wiring will be installed. For example, in areas where the wiring is exposed to moisture, use waterproof wiring methods. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. These devices are required in all electrical circuits in a daycare center. Overcurrent protection devices should be sized appropriately for the circuits they are protecting. If the overcurrent protection device is too small, it will trip frequently. If the overcurrent protection device is too large, it will not protect the circuit from damage. Ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect people from electrical shock hazards. These devices are required in all wet locations in a daycare center, such as bathrooms and kitchens. Ground fault circuit interrupters work by monitoring the current flowing through a circuit. If the current exceeds a certain threshold, the ground fault circuit interrupter will trip and to energize the circuit. Arc fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect electrical circuits from fires caused by arcing faults. These devices are required in all branch circuits that supply outlets in a daycare center. Arc fault circuit interrupters work by monitoring the current flowing through a circuit. If the current exhibits characteristics of an arcing fault, the arc fault circuit interrupter will trip and to energize the circuit. Electrical inspections are an important part of ensuring the safety of a daycare center. Regular electrical inspections can help to identify and correct potential hazards before they cause problems. Electrical inspection should be performed by a qualified electrician. The electrician will inspect the electrical wiring, equipment, and systems to ensure that they are in compliance with the National Electrical Code and local codes. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards for electrical safety. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advances in electrical technology. It is important to stay up to date on the latest requirements of the National Electrical Code. Article 517 of the National Electrical Code, which governs healthcare facilities, contains specific requirements for electrical wiring in these facilities, as it's adopted and adapted in a daycare setting, is critical. These requirements address issues such as patient safety, essential electrical systems, and grounding. The National Electrical Code provides tables for determining the ampacity of conductors. Ampacity is the maximum amount of current that a conductor can safely carry. The ampacity of a conductor depends on several factors, including the size of the conductor, the type of insulation, and the ambient temperature. National Electrical Code Table 310.15 details ampacity. The National Electrical Code also provides requirements for the installation of electrical equipment in hazardous locations. Hazardous locations are areas where there is a risk of fire or explosion due to the presence of flammable gases, vapors, or dusts. Electrical equipment installed in hazardous locations must be specifically designed and approved for use in those locations. The National Electrical Code requires that all electrical equipment be properly labeled. The label should identify the manufacturer, the model number, the voltage, the current, and other important information. The National Electrical Code also requires that all electrical equipment be properly maintained. Regular maintenance can help to prevent electrical hazards and equipment failures. Maintenance should be performed by a qualified electrician. In summary, adhering to the National Electrical Code and local regulations is paramount for ensuring the safety of a daycare unit's electrical system. This includes understanding the requirements of Article 517, using tamper-resistant devices, maintaining proper clearances, implementing grounding systems, installing dedicated circuits and panels, and conducting regular inspections. Consulting with a qualified electrician is crucial to navigate these complexities and ensure compliance with all applicable codes. Remember that electrical safety is not a one-time task, but an ongoing commitment to protecting the well-being of children and staff. Take the time to understand the electrical requirements for your daycare unit and to ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified professionals. By doing so, you can create a safe and secure environment for the children in your care. Electrical codes and regulations are constantly evolving. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes to ensure that your electrical system is in compliance. There are many resources available to help you stay informed about electrical codes and regulations. You can contact your local building department, your local electrical inspector, or a qualified electrician. You can also find information on the National Electrical Code website. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By taking the time to learn about electrical hazards and to follow safe electrical practices, you can help to prevent electrical accidents. If you are not sure how to perform an electrical task safely, always consult with a qualified electrician. Never attempt to perform electrical work yourself unless you are properly trained and qualified. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock and other hazards. If you see an electrical hazard, report it to the appropriate authorities. Do not attempt to fix the hazard yourself unless you are properly trained and qualified. Electrical hazards can be dangerous, and it is important to take them seriously. By working together, we can create a safer electrical environment for everyone. Firstly, Article 517 has specific requirements for wiring methods, grounding, and essential electrical systems. Secondly, metallic raceways or cables are required for all wiring. Thirdly, tamper-resistant receptacles are required at all outlets. Fourthly, switches must be tamper-resistant or mounted at least 5 feet above the floor. Fifthly, lighting fixtures must be recessed or mounted at least 8 feet above the floor. Sixthly, all electrical equipment must be grounded. Seventhly, electrical panels must be locked or secured. Eighthly, a dedicated electrical panel for the daycare unit is recommended. Ninthly, a dedicated heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system is recommended. Tenthly, a dedicated fire alarm system is recommended.